And hello, everyone. My name is Eva Reyes, and I'm the Director of Parent and Family Relations. It is my pleasure to welcome you guys to this evening session, which is going to be basically showing you how to get the most out of your user experience on the Family Portal. So with that said, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so again, some of the ground rules, if you were here the last time, are basically the same. And everyone is on mute. That way we can get through the formal presentation as quickly as possible. The recording is in progress. That way, if you want to revisit the session or if there's any families that were not able to make it this evening, they're able to join in that way. The closed caption is available. All you need to do is hit the more button on the bottom of the screen and you could turn those on so that I'm able to keep track of everything that's happening. And I'm a little blind because I'm only able to see my screen right now and I can't see everyone else. The questions are going to be in the chat. I am going to answer them after the formal presentation. That way, everything is a little bit more seamlessly, and then provide us your feedback at the end. There's going to be a QR code. That way you can help me enhance future programming for you. So the William Paterson Family Portal is basically your personalized gateway to stay informed with everything that's happening at the university. Through the portal, I'm able to send you emails. I'm also able to share a newsletter. There's a calendar of events. There's over 6,700 users in the portal, and that consists of new incoming families like you. There's first-year families, second-year families, third-year families, 4 years families. So basically, everyone is in there. So that way you could start to build community with each other. You know, you're all going through this process at the same time. So what better way to ensure that we're kind of like piggybacking off each other, having conversations with each other. That way, you know, the older families can tell you like some tricks and tips, and you're able to kind of like express what you want to see from the community. So I use the portal as a way to communicate with you, to share information that's timely and relevant, so that in turn you're able to share that information with your student. So as we go through the formal presentation towards the end, I'm going to do a little demo for you. That way you're able to really, really maximize your experience. So how do you get access to the family portal? There's two ways that you could have access to the family portal. Either you get an invitation from me, from the university, saying that you've been invited to join the portal. So your email address is already in there, and all you need to do is log in with the link that is on that invitation email and then set up your password. That's why it's very important that we have, like when your student applies to the university, that they put in your most current or your information, because what happens is that sometimes students don't really know your email address and they just kind of like make things up, or instead of putting .com, they put .net and things like that. So sometimes parents don't get the invite to the portal. But it's okay, because then the other way that you could have access to the portal is if you sign up on your own. So there's a few ways that you could find the portal's website. Either you type it in on your web address, so wp.campusesp.com. You go to the parent and family homepage on the William Paterson website, and there is a tab for the family portal, or you could scan the QR code that is on your screen right now. So how can you engage via the family portal? So the first thing that you need to do is either whether you receive the email invitation or if you sign up on your own, is to complete the onboarding survey or set up your user profile. That way you're telling us what kind of information it is that you want to receive. So if you want to know information about academics, then you'll be able to select that community. So just a little disclaimer, through the portal, the only thing that we're able to share with you is just communication. In the portal, you don't have access to grades because we have to adhere to FERPA regulations. And throughout this summer series and throughout orientation, you're going to be hearing a lot about FERPA. So FERPA is our way to protect our students' privacy. So like in high school, you're very used to getting access to everything, like from their disciplinary records to their grades, easy access to speak with the teachers. Well, in college, it's not like that way. And we're going to have a session about the difference between college and high school later on, where we'll kind of like go over a little bit more in depth through that. But that's one of the reasons why we don't share information through the portal as far as grades are concerned. Hopefully in the near future we can, but at this moment, that's something that we cannot do. So we just share information. But just because we don't share grades with you doesn't necessarily mean that you are not going to stay in the know. So what I do is that when it's time for registration or critical points during the student's life cycle, I will send you a message and I will tell you, you should be having conversations with your student, check in and see how they're doing academically. If you are sensing or they're telling you that they're struggling, maybe you should send them to their academic advisor, or you should send them to tutoring or the academic success center so that they could get that. And then like you start having those honest conversations with the student, and then they will start to open up about how they're really doing academically. So I do give you nudges so that you can have those conversations with your student at critical times during the semester. So that way, you know exactly what's happening. So what else can you do in the portal? Well, there's a calendar of events, and you're also able to register for events. So with the calendar, depending on what communities you're part of, you'll be able to see a lot of information. I always urge families to be part of the campus life community, because sometimes there are students that say, oh, there's really not much stuff to do on campus, or I'm not making any friends or anything like that. But we try to put as many campus life events as possible on the portal for you. That way you could share with your student, oh, but did you know that there's XYZ event happening? Maybe you should go there to that event and maybe you'll meet new people. The good thing about that is that, again, you're staying informed with what's happening on campus, and in turn you're giving your student the information as well. There's also other communities that you could join where we'll put specific events for that community on there. So it just depends on what your preference is. So as far as registering for events, you're all pros at this right now because you all registered for this event using this feature. Either you went into the portal and you were able to, sorry, I'm just letting people in. You were able to register through there, or you received one of my emails and you just click the register button. It brought you to the portal, and then you put in your login information, and then that's how you were able to register for the event. Through all events, you have to register through the portal in order to be able to have access to it and be able to get the Zoom invite. Let's see if my screen wants to cooperate. Okay. So through the portal, you're going to have your regular feed. Like, so if you're used to Facebook, it kind of looks like that, but it's a more trusted source for you to get accurate information, as opposed to having a Facebook group that you don't know exactly who you're chatting with, who you're talking to. Everyone that is on the portal is affiliated in some way, somehow to the university via their student. So as you can see, there is a post where it says me, Teddy, right? So that's a post. And you could actually share that post with your networks with your students. So let's say if it's like a post about registration or a critical thing that they need to do, meet with your advisor, then you could hit the little envelope, which is the email button, and you could send the post directly to your student and they will be able to read it and see it. You could also share the articles or videos, because we also post videos on there, to Facebook, X, LinkedIn, whoever you want to share the information with. And then you could also discover communities. So when you do your onboarding survey and you're selecting the things that you want, that you're interested in the back end, you are being put into some of those communities automatically. But then you do have the option to go in and view all the other communities, and then just join those communities as however you want to do it. And then you also want to join in the conversation. You do want to engage, maybe not with 6,000 families, but maybe there is a small amount of people that you really do want to engage in, depending on the community that you're on. Or if there is like an article that you really enjoyed and you want to like provide feedback, or you want to maybe have a comment like for future pioneers and their families, or even if you want to ask a question, if there's something that's pondering and you want to have like a quick answer, you could do that via the portal. So there's two ways. You could do a comment. So like on this Real Talk series commencement info session, on the bottom, you see that Lorraine wrote a comment, and then there's two replies. So that's one way that you could engage. Another way that you could engage is through the discussion boards. So there's different discussion boards depending, again, on your interest. You'll be automatically part of those discussion boards. And on there, we'll do like something that we as an institution want you to engage with. And how you know that someone is a verified William Paterson faculty or staff is, I know it's very tiny here on the screen, but they're going to have a blue badge on there. That way, you know that the information that you're getting from that rep is accurate. So you could trust it and you could take it for face value. If there's something that we don't know, we're going to let you know and we're going to get back to you. So there's a lot of different faculty and staff in the portal that are able to engage with you on the conversation. So I really, really encourage you to use this to the best possible, because again, this is your way to stay connected and build community with the rest of the William Paterson community. Once I do the demo for the portal, I'll show you how exactly you could get to the discussion boards. So on here, you see that there's the four little icons. The newspaper icon is to take you to your feed. The comment box, I guess, if you want to call it, is the discussion board. Then the little bell, it's notifications. So anything that I send you via email is also going to be on your notifications when you log into the portal. And then the little person is where you could do or customize what your communication preferences are going to be. But again, I'll show you that in a minute. So if once we're done with the demo, you're still unsure on how to do certain things on the portal, we do have some useful portal tutorial videos. There is an overview one, which shows you kind of like a little bit of everything that I just showed you. And there's one that specifically shows you how to discover communities, events, and much more. So before I end this formal part, I have a few reminders for you. So we have other Pioneer pre-orientation sessions coming up. Next week, we have two. The first one is what to expect when having a college student. And this is the one where we are going to talk about the difference between high school and college. The second one is finding belonging at WP. So we're going to have staff from the diversity and inclusion, from student diversity and inclusion, talking about all the different cultural centers that we have, other different resources that we have for different affinity groups, and how students could really find community and support within their networks to ensure that they have the best college experience possible. So I encourage you to join those 2 sessions next week if you're able to. As always, I will record them and I'll put them on the YouTube channel. That way you could go back and see them. I do encourage you to register for the session if you're not going to be able to join us for some reason, because at least that way you will still get the recording. And then in June, we have other sessions that you are able to participate in. I know that June may be a little bit tricky because there's going to be graduations happening. But again, we want to have these so that you have all the tools and resources at your hands prior to coming on campus for orientation. And then talking about orientation, I want to remind you of the orientation dates. The RSVP emails should be coming out soon. They're going to be sent to your student. So make sure that they sign up for any of the orientation dates that you see on the screen. We understand that there is vacations planned for the summer. So just pick one that best works for your family. For the July 16th one, just because you see that's like first years and EOF and honor students doesn't mean that you cannot come to that orientation. We encourage you to register for any of the orientations, but it's a great way for your student to meet some of their current peers here at William Paterson, their orientation leaders, as well as you're meeting like other families that are, walking along you in this journey. And the RSVP process, like I said, your student is going to get an invitation. They have to just sign up for their preferred date. If for some reason you're not able to make the preferred date, you're able to switch it. That way it just works better for you. Both students and families are able to attend the orientation. And we do split you. Students go and do their own thing with their orientation leaders. Families stay with me and we do our own thing. And we do different sessions throughout the morning. That way you could get more resources and get to know more of the William Paterson personnel. And I encourage you to use the time to really, meet other students and their families. Start to set expectations with your student because again, it's a different process, and your student, you've probably heard me say this before if you joined the previous session about 2 weeks ago, is that your student is not the only one transitioning to college. You are too. So, just as their emotions are high, your emotions are high too. So as long as you're starting to set those expectations with your student, both you and them are going to be very successful along this journey. But you have me and a whole bunch of other faculty and staff that are here to help you navigate this experience and ultimately have fun. Orientation it's a great way to just kind of like decompress from like everything. It is a lot of information overload packed into one day, but there are instances where there's like fun. I'm not gonna give everything away, but you're gonna be able to interact with each other. You're gonna see that your student is not even gonna want to sit with you when we bring all of you back together, because they will want to like sit and be in community with the new community that they're going to start building here at William Paterson. So again, orientation is a fun day. Just make sure, please, to remind your student to register for orientation once that email comes out. So if you have any questions about what I just showed you in the formal presentation, you could always give me a call, or you could visit me on campus. So our hours are Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30. These hours are in effect until next week. Then the week after, which I believe is the week of the 18th, we start our summer hours, which are Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5:15 through the second week of August. So we are not available on Fridays. But if you shoot me an email at wpfamilies@wpunj.edu, I'll try my best to just get back to you as soon as possible. And just follow us on Instagram. We put a lot of resources and a lot of useful information on our Instagram account. So that's another good way to get reliable information. So this concludes the formal presentation before we get into the demo. Like I said, if you want to provide us your feedback and let me know what other future sessions you would like to see, I welcome all feedback. One of the reasons why this series exists is because I listen to feedback from families. And again, I just want to make sure that you have all the tools and resources that you need in order for your student to be successful. So at this time, before we launch I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Before we launch the demo, do you have any questions? And you could feel free to unmute or just put them in the chat. Okay, so I don't see any, so let me just make sure that I have. So I'm going to do the demo now. So this is basically what your portal welcome page looks like. I'm not able to see too well, but maybe if I move this down a little bit. So you'll be able to know that this is like our reliable, like it's a true website when you see that wpcampusesp.com web address on the top. So when you're on here, you'll log in with the email address that your student provided to us if you were invited, or whatever email address you used when you signed up. So I have logged in quite a few times today. So it's not liking that I'm logging in again. So it wants to make sure that I'm a real person. So I'll go through that authentication. It doesn't think I'm a robot, and I guess that's a good thing, right? But you're also able to log in with Facebook, LinkedIn, or your Google account. I just used my William Paterson one. And then again, you go into the portal. This is my own personal portal feed. So there may be things on here that doesn't pertain to you necessarily, but again, this is so you could get a feel of what the portal looks like and how you could best maximize your experience.
Hello?
Yes.
You in the demo is the same size. Can you you can barely see the demo.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Okay. Yes, now that's fine. Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So, again, like I said before, you will have your icons up here that will take you like wherever you need to go to on the page. Let's say if you go in to look at the communities, even if you hit the logo on top, it's gonna bring you back to the news feed. Or you could use the paper icon. Just have to make sure, like I said before, I'm trying to multitask and do a lot of things at the same time. I'm meeting people and so if you see me pause a little bit, it's because I'm doing that. So this is the newspaper icon is your news feed. It returns you back to the news feed. No, doesn't matter wherever you are on the portal. Then your discussion boards brings like the little comment icon brings you to the discussion boards. The bell icon brings you to any emails that I have sent you. And then your the little person is gonna bring you to customize your settings. So we're gonna go there first. So on there, you could edit your profile. You could, like I said, edit your notifications. So how often you want to get your newsletter, what kind of emails you want to receive. If you wrote a comment on one of the discussion boards, if you want to get notifications for those, you could do that. You could view like your favorite post, um, and then log out. The admin is just for me because this is my it's my own portal feed. So you could go into edit my profile and then you could put your picture. I highly encourage that you put a picture um on your profile because then that way people are able to I guess build more community that way. Let's say if we're like in an event all together, someone may be able to recognize you. So it's just a better way to be able to personalize your experience and someone else's experience as well. So again, you'll put your email address, the email address you can't change it because that's the one that you set up your account with. But then like all your personal information and then save your changes. You can change your passwords. For the view my orders, that's like, let's say if we're charging for homecoming and family day and the registration is through the portal and there is like a fee attached to it, you're able to view whatever orders that you have, which that will be considered an order, you'll be able to view it on there. You'll be able to view which events you have registered for through here too, and then like it takes you back to the news feed. If we go back to edit notifications, it tells like you could say how often you want to receive the newsletter, and you could have yourself send yourself a sample newsletter so that you can see what it looks like if you haven't gotten one yet. There's different, like you could get it bi-weekly, weekly, monthly, quarterly, or never. I don't suggest never because you want to know what's happening. I get mine on a weekly basis because that's what I prefer, but everyone is actually on a bi-weekly basis. So if you want to get information a lot more often, like your newsletter and things from your feed that you may have missed, I suggest that you just go into the set notification settings and change it to weekly if you want to. So then you could check off, like you want to receive email communications from the portal. You could again get an email when there's a comment that is posted to like a post that you are subscribed to. And when you're subscribed to a post is because you commented on it. So if someone was to share a post with you, let's say another family member, you could get an email that like that as well. Comments notification, post notifications, the discussion board. So depending on what communities you're part of or what discussion boards you're part of, you could get notifications based on that. And you could again set how often you want that to receive those communication. And then you could go into more settings to see what other settings. One of them is unsubscribe, but I don't want you to unsubscribe, so I'm not going to show you that. So then we're going to go back to our feed. And then on here, like I showed you before, this is like your post. You're able to share, you're able to click the envelope button and you're able to share the post with whoever you want. These are actually all people that work at the university. So if there's something that I need them to see because I'm sending something on their behalf or something is being posted on their behalf and I want to share with them, then I'll do that. But you could delete whoever is like on the history. Maybe you don't want to share anything with them anymore. And you could add new. And then again, you could connect your Facebook account to your portal, and then you could share the information that way. as you can see, there's going to be like an image, and there's going to be like a header for or a title for the post. And then you see here where it says post 6 days ago in Parent and Family News. Everyone is subscribed to Parent and Family News. You could definitely opt out, like leave that community afterwards if you want, but everyone is loaded into that because we want everyone to get anything that the university is putting out there. So whenever you see that there is a community attached to it, either you may be part of that community or you may not be, but because the information may be relevant to you, you're going to see it. Let's say if for some reason there is a community on here that you're like, oh, I never signed up for that community, but I would like to be part of that community, then you could click on the link. So you see how it hyperlinks. If you click on there, it's going to bring you to the community, and then you could join the community at that point. Um, you're able to write a comment. So if you really liked Teddy's story and you felt inspired, then I encourage you to leave a comment. And Teddy's still on campus. He's actually graduating this May, but I see Teddy often. So I could share that, that family members are really enjoying his story and what he has to say. And if there's any questions that you have for Teddy, you could put them on there and I'll make sure that I relay the information. So then there's like this community. I see it because I'm part of that community, but you wouldn't be able to see that there's some information about commencement. We're getting ready to have our commencement ceremony in a couple of weeks. So we want to make sure that families are celebrating the big accomplishment of their students. So we're asking families to send a video message to their graduating student. So 4 years from now, I know that you're trying to, at least cross that the bridge for your graduating high school senior. But from 4 years from now, you'll be part of the commencement news community, and you'll be able to send your own video message. There's a lot of commencement information on here because I'm part of that community, and we're pushing out a lot of commencement stuff. So then as you keep scrolling down, you're going to see information about discussion boards, and then you're going to see more information about different posts. Again, it's important that you kind of like just look at all the different communities to see what you want to be a part of. And then you could segment what you want to see by actually clicking on the community. That way you don't have to see everything. If maybe there's a post that you kind of like want to look at and you don't want to scroll through the feed to find it, if you recall what community that's part of, if you like, let's say if it's something about registration and there's other different posts on there, all you need to do is just click on the registration community, and then it'll bring you to that feed only. Then you'll have your calendar where all the different events are going to be on there. If you click on the calendar events, then it's going to give you the full-blown calendar. And then if you click on this iCal link, you could actually download the calendar to your own calendar. So if that's something that you want to do, it's available to you. Again, that way you could share the information with your student. This right here is called an advertisement, but it's an internal advertisement because maybe that's something that I want you to see because it's important. So right now we have for anyone that's part of the commencement community, everyone is seeing this both on the commencement community and also on the portal feed. If everyone gets to see the campus bookstore, maybe you want to get merch, or your student already has their schedule and the professor already put in their book list. You could go from here straight to the campus bookstore, and as long as you put in the course number, the CRN number, then you'll be able to see what book is required. And then this is just like to ensure that you follow us on Instagram. So when you go into current communities, family communities, again, now these are all the communities. You can leave, you could join. I'm trying to sort them by alphabetical order because I'm OCD like that. That way, again, it's easier to kind of like sort through them as opposed to having them all scattered around. It's just a easier way to kind of like see what communities are there, and which ones you'll be interested in joining. So you'll be able to see how many users are in that community, but not necessarily who are the users. Um, a red button means that you are joined in the community. And then if you want to leave, all you need to do is click, and then it's going to turn to blue. And you could rejoin it. If it's a rejoinable community, you're able to rejoin it in like whenever you want again. So there's various communities, and you could, again, depending on what college your student is part of, I encourage you to join that community as well, because there may be some information pertaining to that specific college that you want to see. So for example, if any of your students are honors students, they send me their I believe it's a quarterly newsletter. And in that same newsletter that they sent to their student, I put it there for you to see. So that again, you could stay connected to what's happening in that particular college. And then again, there's so many different communities you could join, and the information that you're going to get from the portal is going to be based on those communities that you're part of. So I'm gonna go back to the feed. It takes me, yeah. So then what would I like to do? So you could view your favorite posts, and I think I have some favorite posts in here. Oh no, I don't have any. But if I had any, they will be listed on here. And if there is a post that you absolutely love, all you need to do is just hit the star. It's gonna favorite for you, and then at that point, it should let me view favorite posts. Yeah, and then here are my favorite posts. Um, it from here it takes you to discover communities again. You could view your events. These add a post, add events is just for me because I'm an admin, so you wouldn't have those on there. Then there's also like some resources that take you directly to specific websites and support. If for some reason you forgot how to contact me, the information is on here. So the last thing I'm going to take you on is to the discussion boards. So again, depending on what communities you're part of, or if you go to your preferences and you want to subscribe to any of the discussion boards, you'll be able to see them here. You'll be able to see the Pioneer Family Forum is for everyone. You'll be able to see the community standards. We expect everyone to be respectful, when talking to one another. There's no soliciting, no selling things. But again, the discussion board should be a place where you're building community with each other, asking questions, and getting reliable resources. So like I said before, when you see the blue badge is because the user is a verified administrator from the university. So you could trust that the information that they're giving you is accurate. And as you can see, Janvier he's part of our book club. So he's been very active. He's been asking questions. I meet with Janvier like every 3 weeks. So he's really utilizing everything that the portal has to offer. I put in questions. The discussion board started not too long ago. They're fairly new. They were launched in November, so people are still getting used to using the discussion boards, but they're a great way to again to talk to one another. Like I asked the question, like, how do you support your student during exams? You know, some family members, they chimed in and they talked about, you know, what they do. So maybe these are things that are going to be useful for you as your student transitions to the university so that you're able to have those conversations with them. But again, I encourage you to use the discussion boards to ask questions. I'm maybe not there every day, but I do have a federal work study student and a graduate assistant that we take turns being in the portal. So if I'm not able to answer a question, there's going to be someone else that is going to be able to answer that question for you. There's other people from other offices as well that are like from career development, from financial aid, from student enrollment services, which is like your one stop for billing, financial aid, student records. There's people from Residence Life on there. So again, this is your space to ensure that the information that you are kind of like most worried about gets answered accurately. And with that, that's pretty much what the portal is, you know, and that's how you could maximize your user experience. I'm gonna stop sharing. So I really hope that you know you got useful insight from the portal and are able to engage with families, with other families, in other ways than in person. You know, I'm gonna try to have more in-person events this year, but you know, if we're not able to, but you also want to meet like other families and engage with them, this is a good way to do it. So at this time, I will take questions. So there is one in the chat. Do you have resources when it comes to student being on campus, and which Instagram account are you speaking of? Because there's a few. So there is a community for residence life and families of resident students. So I just yesterday I sent out an email to current families letting them know about the campus closing. So if there's like any information from Residence Life that I need to share with you, I would, as long as you're part of that community, you're going to get the information. So anything from deadlines to moving dates to when students need to move out, if there's like an emergency happening, it will be whether it's an email or a post on the portal. As long as you're part of that community, you're gonna get it. And the Instagram account, it's the WPUNJ families. That's our official Instagram account for my office. There is a page on the William Paterson website that if you look for social media in the search box, you're going to see all the official social media accounts for all the offices and that are affiliated with the university. If you see that there's an Instagram account, let's call it WPU fam, right? That wouldn't be an official Instagram account because I don't manage it. So anything that comes out of, like, if let's say there is an Instagram account like that, and you see information coming from there, then I wouldn't trust it because it's not coming from the WPUNJ family's Instagram account. We don't have a Facebook account because our official channel is the William Paterson Family Portal and the Instagram account. So I hope that answers your question.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Are you able to change the dining plan that you selected initially through the portal now or no?
You not through the family portal,
Okay,
but the student can call hospitality services
okay,
and they're able to make that change.
okay. And it's a phone call. It's not an email or a,
You could give them a phone call and they'll do it.
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. So it doesn't seem that there are any other questions. So, oh, you're welcome, Lisa. So I hope that you're able to join us next week for the two sessions. The first one, um, if you were here last week, you heard me say that it's a play of the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. So it should be a fun, a fun, serious session. And then the other one on finding belonging, it's a very good one because it's for students that want to find community in smaller groups. It's a good way for you to know the resources that the Office of Student Diversity and Inclusion offers, and all the different cultural events that we have on campus. That way, our students are well-rounded global citizens. So with that said, thank you so much for joining us this evening and have a good night.